Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles, welcoming you to another installment of Lyles Figure Files. We've got some big news on the G.I. Joe Classified series front. This always has me excited. The G.I. Joe Classified series line is probably the line that I'm most excited about with every new reveal, every leaked list, every rumor, every tidbit of information we get out of it. So I'm always excited and thrilled. Today, new news coming courtesy of the His Tank forums. They uncovered some more Walmart listings, which showed a bunch of characters we knew were coming: Stalker, Zorana, Tomax, Zaymot, the Crimson Twins, Dusty, and the Crimson Guardsman. So we know those guys were coming, and Crocmaster and Fiona, but there were two new listings, one of which was another character with a pet. So that's a $41.99 price point. The other is a fan choice figure that's $31.49. I have no idea who this fan choice character could be. Maybe it's Grunner Airborne with the hang glider. That could be really cool. Take him out, actually have a hang glider that folds in, that you can fling him around the backyard, the front yard, wherever. That would be really fun. And you could also do a Cobra Trooper with a hang glider. So maybe that's something that they could go with. There are a lot of options, a lot of possibilities. Maybe you do Doc or Lifeline with a bunch of medical supplies, including a stretcher. I have no idea. Snow Job could be another one that they could really deluxe out with a bunch of things, but I'm not quite sure. Anyway, we do know that there are a limited amount of Joes or Cobras and even Dreadnoks with animal sidekicks, so that makes it a little bit easier to narrow down those choices. I'm going to roll through the list of obvious candidates that would probably warrant this $41.99 price point and kind of take it down through some weird choices, starting off with my number one, the absolute person that I am most hoping this is. It's got to be Mutt and Junkyard. I mean, when you think of Joes, you think of their animal sidekicks. Maybe you get to Snake Eyes and Timber and Spirit and Freedom, maybe Law and Order, but to me, Mutt and Junkyard was the pinnacle, the epitome of this whole dynamic, because Mutt was wild. He was the one that wore the muzzle. That was something cool in the file card, that he, instead of Junkyard, was rocking it. He's got the baton, he's got the Uzi. Mutt just had a really great design, and Junkyard was such a cool animal sidekick. He was featured so prominently in the cartoon, through the different miniseries. And another reason that I'm hoping it's Mutt and Junkyard is we can complete that scene from The Revenge of Cobra. So Flint, Roadblock, Mutt and Junkyard piloting their Sky Strikers, going after the Cobra Temple, get sucked into this major monsoon, get sent down into this massive tunnel, and then they've got to deal with these creeper vines. And it's just such a cool scene. Anyway, they were prominently featured in The Revenge of Cobra, definitely throughout the cartoon. Mutt and Junkyard for me would look great in this. Mutt has such a fantastic design, and I'd love to see the Classified Series team just 6-inch version this bad boy up with the whole helmet, muzzle piece separate, got the weird mustache, the baton, whole works, just all of this in 6-inch glory. If we get that fully articulated Junkyard, I will be super happy if that's coming up soon. Next up's Law and Order, and I don't think you could go wrong with these guys. Such a fun pairing. Law has a great design. Order's a canine German Shepherd. I mean, you can't go wrong with this pairing. And we don't have anybody from the Wave 6 set with Falcon, Chuckles, Jinx, Tunnel Rat, Big Lob, etc. And I think this would be a nice entry point for him. So we've already got Dusty coming as part of the single edition series. Maybe it's a little too soon to throw him in there with the deluxe package with his pet coyote, Sandstorm. But maybe this is just an example of Hasbro going, let's knock him out like we've done Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow, Roadblock. Get some of their more popular looks out, and let's knock his final one out. I don't think this is too likely, but I'm sure there are a few fans of the cartoon, the DIC version of the really terrible versions of G.I. Joe, and maybe he'll get bumped up. I don't think that's very likely, but it could be a possibility. One that's probably a little bit higher is Spearhead and Max. I always liked his outfit. I was starting to lose some interest in buying every single wave of Joes, and Spearhead was one of the few of that wave that I was like, I gotta get this guy. I like his outfit. Kind of reminded me of Flash with the pattern there, and the ammo belt, the camo, the bayonet, and why not a Bobcat sidekick. So yeah, Max in Spearhead would be a really fun addition to the line too. And again, this is way deeper down in the wave and the line, so maybe this is a chance for Hasbro to go, we're going to cover all these different areas, all these eras of G.I. Joe, from the old school original 13 to some of the later guys like Captain Gridiron and Spearhead and Max. So we'll see. So another choice that I think could be a lot of fun is Naugahyde with his pet boar. And we were still building up the Dreadnought ranks, so he's probably not the third Dreadnought you want to see after, before Torch, Buzzer, Ripper, Xandar, Thrasher, Monkey Wrench, etc. But this would be a nice opportunity to get another Dreadnought in here and animal sidekick that could be really fun for the Hasbro team to knock out. I mean, a boar could just work in so many scenarios, and Naugahyde, while he's not the most popular Dreadnought, does have a very cool look. So I think this could work. Probably not the most likely. Again, I think Mutt and Junkyard have this one on lock, but here's just some of the other options and possibilities. So finally, we've got Raptor, and I think he's another one that could be really cool in this format, because instead of one Falcon that he comes with, he could have a bunch of Falcons and Hawks, etc. I don't know why the birds of choice that he uses are named after Joes, but anyway, so he could have a big cloth cape that unfolds a little bit further than a normal cape, more so than the original Real American Hero version. And Raptor just has a wacky look that probably doesn't shoot him to the top of the remaining Cobra hierarchy. I still need Scrap Iron, Wild Weasel, Copperhead, and probably about 7 others. Of course, Dr. Mindbender, but I don't think he'd be too far off after the important ones who are still left. And I just thought he looks cool, and I think they could incorporate playing with the concept of several different birds for Raptor. Again, he's not going to be the next one, but just another option for down the road. All right, so now that I've shown you those guys, and who are coming on the Classified series at some point, because it's there's no reason not to. The Hasbro team has said the line's doing well. We're gonna keep cranking out these figures, and I want to see all of them at some point. So we'll see. But I've started to get back into the G.I. Joe retro line just because I was in Walmart and was like, oh, these look so cool and amazing. And I picked up Stalker. As you can see here, the original black member of the team. Stalker was a very cool figure. And I kept seeing him in the stores and was like, this guy looks incredible. And so I finally decided to pick him up. He comes loaded with some really nice weapons. They're made of a very softer plastic that almost doesn't fit into the hands as well, because they're kind of rubbery and they're not able to stay in there as well. This one on his left hand is a bit looser, like the tip here is a little bit off, a little wacky. This submachine gun is much better, and there's a really cool feature with this figure, is like all the Joes back in the day, the original 13, had the harness with the knife in there, couldn't take it out. Now you actually can, so Stalker can take his knife out. I thought that was a really cool touch. So you can do that. The head sculpt is really well done. I was very surprised at the sculpt in the scale, because these guys are a little bit taller, or at least the retro version of Stalker is taller than most of the other figures. And the sidearm pistol also comes out. That's a nice touch. And, so you can store all these weapons and carry them all. Really nice articulation. Double jointed knees. Ankle. Swivel. There. You can pull his arms out here. Nice single jointed elbows, but they have really good range. And he's got a nice swivel back and forth here. The head has some decent amount of range as well. And so yeah, it's really nice job with this. I'm still working on this camera with figures, but I have a few pictures. So let's check them out. All right, so here he is. And I really, really love that head sculpt. It looks amazing. They did a really nice job making him look serious, ready for action. You can see all the texture detail on the outfit, the pouches on the sleeve, old school G.I. Joe. He's got the collar, the turtleneck, and I guess in some iterations with the cartoon and the comic book that was red. But it's kind of cool. I really like this head sculpt though. It's a really nice job. This was wild to me how different this this old school figure was, the original one, compared to this one. It's like it blew me away, the size and just how different he looked next to him. I like that figure, but ooh, I always thought that they did a sketchy job with the camouflage, this little weird coloring, not quite the classic shades of green that I was expecting. And this new retro version really does what I was hoping with that. But he's a lot taller, a lot bigger, a lot thicker all around. And it just totally almost looks like he's from a different line. This is how he looks with some of the other figures. And again, you see how Hasbro has kind of been figuring out the scale as they've gone along. The Snake Eyes figure is an amazing figure, but he's so tiny next to Flash and Stalker and Breaker. I think Stalker matches up pretty well with Breaker and Flash though. And I love that this version of Breaker comes with gum. So really thought that was cool. Maybe I'll try to incorporate that into my classified series version. And this is how he looks next to a couple of bad guys. So Quinn, maybe ready for an upgrade, just a little bit bigger. I think all of his gear gives him an impression of looking bigger, but at least he's not shorter than Stalker, which would be a real problem. Cobra Commander matches up pretty well, and it looks like that's the exact same version they use in the Retro series. I think there's a little bit of discrepancy in terms of the parts and the figures they're choosing, so they really have to be careful to make sure that they're going with this larger size so the other ones don't look tiny next to them. The Lady J we've got is definitely one of that, the bigger size, so she'll fit in nicely. But now I definitely want a Scarlet and a new Snake Eyes because they look so small next to him. And here's Stalker showing off some of that great articulation. He really does hold poses nicely. I was able to have him in running poses, kneeling, crouching, just kind of whatever. And like I said, this submachine gun works so much better than the other one, which is it's just kind of limp and it doesn't hold the hand just doesn't hold it in place very well, even with the thumb grip to hold on to the trigger. So yeah, but anyway, I've got Grunt coming up very soon. Just wanted to give you guys a preview of this photo shoot and why I have you wait. So here's Grunt. You can check him out there. He is essentially the exact same figure as Stalker, minus the paint, of course, and the head sculpt. And he's got the same harness, same texture on the body. So hopefully you can see that pretty well. But I'm very happy with Grunt now because the Stalker was really well done. And he's got the M16, the classic Joe weapon, this Mr. logo. And this will be a great replacement for the Grunt that I always thought was kind of weak that Hasbro did with the 25th anniversary line. So I'm really happy to get him, get Stalker. I'm hoping they tackle some more of these original 13 guys. And I'll be having a review of him very soon. Also, that arrived from Target.com. They're trickling into me. But the Age of Apocalypse Rogue, can't wait to knock her out. I'm really happy to get more of these figures. It's always good to complete teams, so it's really good to get one of the key pivotal members of that team. And then another trip to Target, just a random lurch. I was like, wait, he's already out. The Zodiac. And this is a figure that I'm just like, this is ridiculous. Why am I feeling the need to get this guy? I hated the Dungeon of Doom, but I kind of love the fact that Hasbro, Mattel made them and made him. So yeah, I just had to get it. Really cool looking figure. So that's it. Look for those guys coming up on LylesMovieFiles.com. I'll be doing reviews on them very soon. That's it for me. Looking forward to hearing what Joes you want to see, which pet sidekicks you hope to see first, in addition to all of them. Just which one is your priority? So that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. This episode of Lyles Figure Files has been filed.